Yes, this is an actual music video, and it is done unironically and non-sarcastically. Tell me you're dealing with a death cult as you have children cheering the praises of entire cities and infrastructure facilities just being bombed into oblivion, as of course we are entering into a new world of absurdity that is becoming more and more weirder by the day. Guess what? It's going to become that much more weirder as, of course, there is an ongoing internal battle happening right now between the DNI chief, Tulsi Gabbard, and Donald Trump that is heating up to some very serious proportions as Donald Trump has finally released some statements confusing everyone that much more, as he literally said, no one knows what I'm going to be doing here. He said some other stuff about Bibi. We'll get into that. He said some other stuff about how he wants this kind of thing to happen. We'll play all the clips. We'll get right into it in this particular video. And if you appreciate these type of more earnest, honest type of conversations that sadly a lot of people do not want to have in an intellectual, honest way that are, quote, right-wing influencers. If you appreciate our attempt here to do our best here to cut through the propaganda, the nonsense, the insane talking points by some people, subscribe. Click the notification button, as of course the latest information we're getting is that the U.S. Embassy is organizing an evacuation from Israel, according to Fox News, in the making of this particular video. Now, we are also seeing the firing of a major colonel. We'll get into that in a little bit as well. That's also pretty big breaking news here, as we're finding out right now that Trump is privately raging at Tulsi Gabbard. Now, why? This is something that we picked up on. Tulsi Gabbard released a very kind of weird video warning about nuclear annihilation. She's talked about her trip to Nagasaki, Hiroshima, how devastating, how horrible it was, and how close we were to that happening once again. Why was she doing that? She was sending, this is now the interpretation that a lot of people are getting from this, she was sending a message to the world as there were tough negotiations and conversations happening within the White House that Donald Trump greenlit not just Israel's attack, our defense, our aid, our assistance, but also our offensive measures. We still haven't seen those offensive measures. We have seen everything else. Tulsi Gabbard, in protest, released this video to send a message to the world in order to, what Donald Trump now sees, shape the world against his greenlighting and advance with Israel against Iran. Now, according to all the sources, he is mulling her ouster amid a lot of clashes that are happening inside of the White House. Now, this is a very tense situation since clearly Tulsi Gabbard also a couple months ago, talked about on the national stage, Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Tulsi Gabbard, when Donald Trump was the president in his first term, was talking about how dangerous Donald Trump was towards Iran. And clearly, she has always been an outspoken critic of war. She has been criticized by the left because she went to Syria and described how the United States under Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were secretly funding jihadis, Sunni jihadis, that the Shia militia groups and rebel groups, predominantly from Iran, were fighting. That's the key component there, since it's our tax dollars that we're financing radical Sunni Wahhabism, jihadism, and the Iranians were mainly fighting against those Islamic principles with their own Islamic principles, the Shiite principles. And this is kind of probably why she was so against the war in Syria and the war now currently unfolding. And that has been kind of teased to us. This has been kind of built for us for an extremely long time, ever since 1995. This has been an ongoing public situation where there have been calls from the Israeli government to allow the United States to work with them, to aid and abet them when it comes to their offensive actions against Iran. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, self-defense. You don't punch someone in the face and then just claim self-defense. That just doesn't happen. Politico has a more detailed description of what's happening inside the White House, as there's a lot of arguments. Listen, Donald Trump within the last few days lost Elon Musk. He lost Tucker Carlson. A lot of people are saying he lost Tulsi Gabbard. He was asked directly, what do you think about Tulsi Gabbard saying that Iran didn't have nuclear weapons a couple of weeks ago? He says, I don't care. Okay, well, that's your own director of national intelligence, okay? That doesn't seem reassuring. And I'm like, where's the evidence? How about Donald Trump? How about you present some evidence? Okay, we haven't seen that, or an argument that this is good for us. This is what the Political article writes here. President Trump privately mulled joining Israel's campaign against Iran this month. One member of his cabinet sent what he viewed as an audacious attempt to steer him in the opposite direction. At 5:30 a.m. on June 10th, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard tweeted a cryptic 3-minute video warning. And we told you about this. We told you, hey, this is weird. There's something about this. We're all right. Warning that political elites and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers, and that the world is on the brink of nuclear annihilation. Trump saw the unauthorized video and became incensed, complaining to associates at the White House that she had spoken out of turn. I don't think she has. I think she was warranted in being concerned about this. Before reading the other kind of Trump reaction here and what else he did here and what probably will be happening here soon, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. We got a great shop. We got a lot of really awesome products available to you. We are going to be getting creatine back in stock. It's going to be shipped out sometime probably later this week. But one of the other products that we have here is this one in the middle called Essential Fatty. If you like fish oils, which a lot of doctors recommend to people, especially if they have certain heart issues. Again, before taking anything into your own body, do your own research, talk to medical professionals. I had my blood work done, and my doctor was like, you should look into fish oils. I was like, okay. I looked into fish oils. I started taking some. I started feeling good. I have them here on my desk right now. I started taking them. And, especially based on your kind of genetic kind of phenotypes, you thrive off certain diets. Like the Eskimos love fish. If you're an Eskimo person, you don't get the fish, you're not going to have a good time genetically. This is why a lot of people argue that black Americans are dealing with so many health problems, predominantly because they don't have the same diet that they had in Africa. That's what Dr. Sebi, who I believe was also taken out, was doing, curing a lot of people's ailments, according to individuals who worked with him. Now, am I claiming I'm going to heal anything? No, I ain't getting sued. You crazy? But I like my fish oils because I could either get my fish intake. Again, I'm Slavic. I'm Nordic Slavic. I'm like Slavic, Viking. We were boating and riding, and we ate a lot of fish. I thrive off of a lot of fish. The problem is a lot of fish right now is contaminated. It's filled with a lot of mercury, a lot of just horrible microplastics and parasites and all this other stuff. The bigger the fish, the more problems that there usually is within it. And I'm like, listen, I don't want any of this nonsense. So I rely on small fish. I try to eat sardines. I'm like, they're all weird. And then, I force myself to do it here and there. That's the best way. The best way, but it's inconvenient. You don't want to get, you want to make sure you get the sardines from the glass. You don't want to get the sardines from the cans. Cans filled with incredible amounts of microplastics. All right? That's already expensive. I got to go out and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like doing all that. When I could just get a pill and get small sardines and small fish oils that are procured here, and I take them. There's a lot of interesting studies surrounding smokers and fish oils. Do some research into it. And if you know some smokers, make sure you tell them about it. Tell them, hey, check out wearechange.shop. Now, let's continue on with Donald Trump's reaction. Donald Trump's statements here, because I thought they were vast here. Now, according to 3 people with familiar with the episode, 2 of them inside the administration, and all are granted an anonymity to describe sensitive dynamics. Her post came a few days after Israel hawks met with Trump at the White House to lobby him to support Israel's attack on Iran. In the eyes of Trump and some close to him, Gabbard was warning him not to greenlight Israel's attacks against Iran. Trump even expressed his disapproval to her personally, the three people said. I don't think he dislikes Tulsi as a person, but certainly the video made him not super hot on her, and he doesn't like it when people are off message, said one of the people, a senior administration official. The official added that Trump also doesn't appreciate it when people appear to be correcting him, and that many took the video as trying to correct his administration's position. Well, yeah, I think it's not wrong, since she was counter-messaging secretly, trying to, of course, warn everybody, like, hey, where we are going is not good. And I agree with her. We are not going in a good direction, especially with the latest comments from Donald Trump here, as, of course, Matt Walsh really hit the nail on the head here, saying anyone who claims that the majority of conservative voters want the United States to fight a regime change war in the Middle East is insane or lying. You might as well claim that the majority want open borders and carbon taxes. Just total lunacy, the exact opposite of the reality. And there are a lot of gaslighting efforts out there done by a lot of paid shills and influencers right now that are saying insane things like this. This is Congressman Randy Fine saying, I want to congratulate Israel on its mostly peaceful bombing. Read that again. Mostly peaceful bombing. Bro. I let Forrest Mommy here. Did you eat it? These people are crazy. But listen, Donald Trump here, let's be honest here. He greenlit the attacks. And he is now in a very weird situation since his base, the vast majority of Republicans are saying, stop, dude, we don't want this. We do not want this. We did not vote for this. We do not approve of this. You're endangering us. Energy prices through the roof, right? Everything through the roof. Instability. Why? What's the reason? And Donald Trump, in my opinion, hasn't made a legitimate argument other than repeating failed BB talking points that somehow Iran will attack us. Again, we heard that with Iraq, and it was a bunch of lies, okay? Why would Iran take itself up by attacking us? Okay, that would be the most insane thing that Iran could ever do. It doesn't make any sense at all. But Donald Trump sadly repeated a lot of BB talking points. He talked a lot. This is just one of the things that I think is important for a lot of people to realize.
Mr. President, can you share some of what you've told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
So keep going. What do I say? I speak to him every day. He's a good man, doing a lot. Been very unfairly treated by his country, I think.
There's people that were protesting him, okay? He was on his way out. Huge unpopularity. This is another talking point that a lot of people are missing. A lot of Israelis living in Israel don't like the man. All right? He's been there forever, okay? People say, oh, Putin, Mao, they're in there forever. So is Bibi, okay?
Very unfairly treated.
Have you given him any indication that you may seek to aid them more than you have already?
No, I haven't. So far, he's doing a good job. He has been treated very unfairly by his country. You know, he's a wartime president, and he's going through this nonsense. It's ridiculous.
Sounds like you got a good meeting with him.
Talk to him every day, and I told him to keep going. If that's not a green light, I don't know what is. People are saying, is there no green light? Trump doesn't give no green light. Bibi's acting on his own accord here. He's not. This is important, what he mentioned here. He's a wartime president. This automatically just makes me remember. As soon as the October 7th thing happened, I was like, this is, listen, politically great for Bibi, who was on his way out, who was facing massive protest, who was facing massive resistance from his own political constituents. And now he understands if he has a war, he's going to be in power. The longer he continues and expands this war, the more, and this is exactly what we said he was going to do. And that's exactly what he did. You could go back to our videos, and we tell you, this is going to be a war that's going to continue and expand now. And then you saw that. You saw that with Lebanon. You saw that with Syria. You saw that with Hamas. You saw that with the Houthis. You're now seeing that with Iran. This is the final step. This is the final piece on the chessboard before, and then Pakistan gets involved. Pakistan with nukes is next. People don't realize that. But Trump's statements here, they're just kind of wild because he's like, I'm not going to tell anyone what I'm doing. Okay, but you should at least tell us what you did. You should at least tell us if you're involved, if you're not involved here. As President Trump came out and said, quote, "We are not looking for a long war. I only want one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's it. I'm not looking for a long-term, short-term. I've been saying it for 20 years. Then he talked about how the Iranians are going to strike us and attack us. Failed, insane, illogical talking point that doesn't make any sense here at all. Now, he was asked whether the United States will be more officially involved in offensive measures. We're involved in the defensive measures. And this is his answer that was interesting here.
Questions about whether you are moving closer or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities. Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question?
Now, that response makes sense. Okay, if you're going to launch an offensive action against someone, you don't tell them, I'm going to do it then, I'm going to do it at this time, and Donald Trump makes that remark here. But he says a lot of duplicitous things at the same time. He says here, it's never too late to negotiate, and then he says, I told them it's really late to negotiate. Which one is it? Like, we're getting reports of now some Iranian officials flying to Oman. Will they be assassinated like the previous negotiators? Listen, if I'm replacing the negotiators that got assassinated, and they're like, hey, we want you to fly out, are they going to take me out too? Probably. Listen, let's be real with ourselves.
Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad to watch this.
So they no longer have a country because they didn't acquiesce to your needs and demands. And again, we were arguing. Like the United States was saying things. The proposition, the deal, didn't make sense. There was no carrot at all, other than Iran, do what we want you to do. And then economically, they would have been in the same position as they were since China was buying up a lot of their oil and energy resources, which is a major factor here. But you might have a country. You're talking about regime change now for 90 million people.
I mean, I've never said anything like it. It's so, everyone thought it was going to be the reverse. I didn't think so. And I was telling them, you gotta do something. You gotta negotiate. And at the end, last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that. And they got hit. Remember 60 days? And then came the 60. 61 is going to become a very famous number. That was one hell of a hit, that first hit. That was one hell of a hit. Not sustainable, to be honest. That's where it ended. It ended on the first night, yes.
Is it too late, though? Do you think it's too late?
The Israelis went after a lot of the government buildings, a lot of the negotiators, a lot of the nuclear scientists on the first day. Now we're seeing them going after the infrastructure of Tehran, going after their water treatment facilities, their energy resources, their media organizations, their state-run media organizations, press TV, all, and now we're having civilians pay the toll of this conflict here. And why are our bombs and intelligence being used to bomb press TV and water treatment facilities for people? I mean, why are prisons being released here? This is again. Just total maximum pressure and chaos being issued by Israel and the United States that's working with them to do this.
Late to now.
Really, nothing's too late. The only thing too late is Powell. Powell's too late. Too late, Powell.
Have the Iranians reached out to you, Mr. President?
What?
Have the Iranians reached out to you?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said it's very late. I said it's very late to be talking.
Mr. President,
we may meet. It's. I don't know. There's a big difference between now and a week ago, right? Big difference.
Yeah, a huge difference, especially now, since this situation is not a good one. Let's hope and pray that there's going to be peace here. Let's hope and pray that we don't have to get involved here again. probably what's going to be happening is Thursday, Friday is when the Americans probably will get involved here from everything that I'm seeing. There is a small chance for an off-ramp. I'm praying for that off-ramp. I think that off-ramp is also dependent on everyone being in unison, not just worshiping power, not just worshiping people in charge, not just kissing their butts, not just brown-nosing, not just bootlicking, but saying, no, this is not what I want. This is not what I want of my leadership. This is not what I want of my tax dollars. This is not what I want of my country to be represented as. I want peace. Okay? Can we have peace? Can we try that out for a little bit? We have a lot of war. I'm going to do another video. The situation in Ukraine, awful for the Ukrainians, right? The Ukrainians are losing. That's the next video. Stay tuned for that. Check out some fish oils. Might be good for you. And again, are you going to buy it from all the horrible people with bad track records and big box stores? Are you going to buy it from us? Who are you going to support? Where are you going to be voting with your dollar? We appreciate all of your support. You guys mean the world to us. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.